Have you felt it?
Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button right now. So I just finished watching an interview with Keith Thurman where he was asked about the current state of the welterweight division. He was asked about Errol Spence. He was asked about Terence Crawford. Now, when it comes to Errol Spence and making that fight, Keith Thurman said it wasn't going to be the next fight. He said it wasn't going to be the fight after that. He said maybe after 2 fights, maybe they can start the negotiation process. But he doesn't really know when that fight's going to happen. He doesn't even know if Al knows when it's going to happen. Why is that, Keith? Because if you really wanted that fight, you know when you'd want to fight Errol Spence. But Hitman Boxing thinks you don't want that fight. Every time they ask you about Errol Spence, you start freezing up and stuttering and one time, Keith, one time. You know, you start fucking freezing up. So what's it gonna be, man? You gonna fight Errol Spence? You want a unification match, man? Look, he's basically saying that he's gonna get a rematch in with Danny Garcia or Sean Porter, or maybe they can fight each other for a chance at a rematch with Keith Thurman. You know, whatever, cool. Whatever you want to do, Keith. Whatever you want to do. And then it comes the topic of Terence Crawford. And, you know, Keith Thurman was so vocal and so excited to get Danny Garcia in the ring once Danny moved up from 140 to 147. It's almost as if he was stalking him. You know, he was really pushing for that fight. But now Terence Crawford moves up from 140 to 147. Oh, now Terence Crawford has to put in work before you fight him. Now Terence Crawford's got to earn some respect at 147. But when previously you were the guy who, quote-unquote, welcomed fighters from 140 to 147. So why don't you welcome Terence Crawford to 147 and let him beat the living shit out of you? Keith Thurman is just... he's not Keith Thurman no more, man. I think this might be a clone version of Keith Thurman. There's 2 Keith Thurmans. The real Keith Thurman is probably locked up somewhere in some basement, and they cloned this dude. And now we got this Keith Thurman, the one who don't want fights, the guy that doesn't knock anybody out, the guy who fakes injuries. He's not real. This is not the real Keith Thurman, man. I'm telling y'all. Y'all think I'm crazy, but this ain't Keith Thurman, man. Talking about, you know, me and Spence, you know, he's just not convincing, man. So and now, you know, I thought Keith Thurman was coming back in January. Now he's talking about mid-February, March. I'm starting to think that maybe I was right, and you're not going to fight until the middle of 2018. Because I know he still got the elbow issue. Let's just humor him and say that, yeah, he had an elbow injury, and, you know, he's still rehabbing the elbow. So he's going to be out for a bit. And I'm not sure what the plan is for his first fight. I would assume the second fight would be some sort of rematch between Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. But, you know, Keith Thurman says he's in the prime of his career. So I would think he would want to fight more, you know, more than twice, maybe even 3 times a year if you're in the prime of your career at the moment. But, you know, I'm disappointed in Keith Thurman. I'm disappointed in the fact that, you know, he used to be very vocal about these fights. I mean, you can say he doesn't have to be vocal anymore because he's the unified champion and everyone's coming for him, right? You know, but make no mistake about it, he's not Floyd Mayweather. He's not a big money fighter like that. You know, I heard Errol Spence is about to make $3.5 million for fighting Lamont Peterson. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I gotta find some sources, but Keith Thurman made $3 million in one fight. Maybe it has something to do with the opponent. I don't know. Who knows? But let me know what you guys think of Keith Thurman and, you know, his backpedaling when it comes to fighting Errol Spence. His backpedaling when it comes to the thought of Terence Crawford getting in the ring with him, because he knows that's a dangerous fight. I mean, he's got to know at this point that both of those are dangerous fights, and if he can somehow make Errol Spence and Errol Spence and damn, it's early as hell, man. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight each other, and he fights the winner. I think he'd be more comfortable with that, you know. But at the end of the day, either Terence Crawford or Errol Spence will beat the shit out of Keith Thurman. one time. Hitman boxing, one time. Hitman boxing, one time. I'm out.